welcome back. On this episode we're going to do a little bit of this. A lot of that. Room, well, oil filters on, full of oil. Connection's done. Let's just double check the choke's engaged. It is. Give it a couple of love squirts. Okay, not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. Okay, just gonna pop that on there so you can see a little easier. Again, coil lead disconnected. Fuel pump filling, alright. Okay, I think it moved a little bit. Alright. Let's just try and fire her up. See what happens. Okay, well, we've got all the pressure. Okay, so just advanced the timing a little fraction of the distributor, and increased the cold idle speed screw. More timing. A little bit. A little bit. Happy days. Let's check for leaks. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Let's just quickly, that brought it off choke cam. Let's just increase that doodah a little bit, put her back on the choke, fire her back up, and then we're gonna have to shut her off because there's no water pump right now. Okay, sorry for the wind. Okay, so timing cover was off, so I need to quickly bleed the system. So I'm going to use my tried and tested hillbilly way of doing this. This is just a regular funnel with some electrical tape around the bottom to create a seal here. But you can actually buy proper bleeders that when you pull this out, it doesn't go everywhere, it actually has a one-way valve in it. But what I do is I make sure this is filled, creating a high point, which is higher than the top hose. I run the car for a few minutes, heat is on full to make sure that the circuit's fully open and whatever. And then what I do is I squeeze these top hoses. And as you can see, every time you squeeze, I'm pushing air back out and it's finding a way to escape, which is up here. And you'll notice that as more air comes in, this level goes down as the air pockets have been filled by the coolant. So it takes some time, but if you just carry on doing it, it really pays off in the end. You'll actually start to feel and hear water appearing in this hose. Ideally, this hose should be lower, but I just couldn't get it to work with my distributor being in the way. I couldn't take a straight out, so unfortunately it bends up a little bit, but you know, needs must. Alternatively, if you have a pressure bleeder or a vacuum bleeder, you can use that and it makes your life a little bit easier. Okay, so we are off to a place called Dan ST for the rolling road session. You might know Dan ST from the, I guess, world famous bike carb conversions for you know, for Pintos and Z-Techs, things like that. In fact, I had one of his ZX7R kits on my Pinto. Before I did this, if you go back in my channel, you'll see that I had a couple of videos with the bike carbs set up, and they ran and sounded fantastic. And I got my little Pinto with just a cam to about 125 horsepower to the wheels, so that was great. Anyway, V8 now. So he now has a place over in Shipley, or Baildon, not Saltwich Park, West Yorkshire, with a dyno, and let's see what numbers we get. So the performance figures are going to be power, I think, estimated at the flywheel, so we shall see. If we get over 170, I am happy, given the fact it's not being tuned at all. We're using factory jets, factory needles on the carburetor. I think the Capri you can't actually see. So low down, massive bonnet. So yeah, let's see what we get. Idle 10 or 12 degrees, but I think I might be able to go to 14.
Yeah, okay. So we'll swing the time in a bit, that's a baseline now.
Right.
See if we get it.
so a few months have passed since the dyno run. It's now the 7th of September. I'm still stoked about the results from the dyno. Bearing in mind this was just ignition timed at the dyno, running standard jets, the standard accelerator pump position, and we got some fantastic results after a couple of hours of runs. It was the hottest day of the year, and the car just performed, and every single time we changed some timing or adjusted some bits here and there, it just kept getting better and better. Super consistent AFR readings, and yeah, it's really good. I'm so proud of how well it did. Again, not massive numbers. These rubber V8s are not known, especially in very standard form like this with a mild cam, to really pull that much stuff, but that much horsepower, I mean. But again, the torque curve is brilliant. And just to make a note here, we made a peak horsepower reading of 184.9, so let's say 185 at the flywheel, and we hit a peak torque of 225. Now, to compare that against an EFI version of the engine in 4 litre drag from the late 90s, early noughties, the EFI version did 188 horsepower and 250 foot-pound torque. So that's, considering this is on a carburetor, that is pretty close. One thing to note is the AFR is slightly too rich. Now, this obviously is going to impact the horsepower readings, so what we need to do is go 1 or 2 stages leaner on the Edelbrock chart for the jets. And also, if you're really keen, you'll notice that there's a couple of dips in the readout. That is where the engine was temporarily going lean from the accelerator pump not being properly calibrated. So when you ramped the power, there was a bit of a bog. That was easily tuned out with the accelerator pump linkage. And yeah, so I'm really happy. I will fit some new jets and take it back next year. But for the main thing, it's done 2,000 miles now all summer. I've taken it out every weekend. It's been great. I've had a couple of breakdowns. You know, I had a failed ignition barrel which left me stranded at the side of the road, so we had to hotwire it home. And I had my oil pressure hose touch the exhaust manifold, spring a leak, spray oil everywhere, and again, some small breakdowns, but reliability wise the oil pressure is mega. They've seen the performance, it drives great, it's exactly how I planned the car to drive. So yeah, what's next basically? Well, for me, I'm gonna do the bodywork. This winter I'm going to try my hand at getting all the panels to properly fit, because they're not very good. So yeah, I mean, again, I've never done bodywork before. It was a complete miracle that I got it somewhere close to where it should be. So I'm going to spend all winter doing that. And that means taking all the drivetrain out of the car, because it'll just give me extra room. I've had the engine in and out that many times now, that's not a problem. So yeah, next step for me is going to be, yeah, doing the bodywork, getting engine bay cleared again, and just starting doing that. If there's anything else you want me to do a video on, just let me know in the comments. Any Capri questions or common tasks that you have a question about or unsure about. I've probably had to deal with it at some point, rightly or wrongly, but at least I can give you a second opinion. And yeah, I'm happy. It's, sorry about the wind, it's again September, winter is coming, and yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe, because then you won't miss new videos. And yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.